Hello, mindful friends. Today we're going to be talking about how the first step of healing is compassion, and how sometimes we feel like we want to immediately jump to fixing, solving, figuring it out, the action part of healing. We want to make it better right away, or make it go away, or make it stop. And how in mindfulness we are trained to first make the first step compassion, which means simply being with whatever is, holding it in our heart space, offering it our love and acceptance, and developing understanding. So when we jump immediately into action, sometimes it can worsen our situation. Maybe we don't fully understand the depth or truth of what we're actually needing or what we're going through. It can make us kind of overlook or hide from or bypass some of the true experience that we're going through. And oftentimes in our difficult emotions, difficult experiences, what we're really needing is to just be heard sometimes, just allow the experience to be there. And the action part, so jumping right into the fixing, can sometimes make us feel like this shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be feeling this. Get rid of it as quickly as possible. And this can be quite harmful. It can feel like a lot of pressure on top of the experience that we're already having. So we're already kind of struggling. And these we're talking about any difficult situation. It could be emotional, the feelings that we're going through. It could be experiences in the body. It could be our mental states, some experience we're having out in life. And so when we're approaching this and we're saying we just want to fix it, it can feel like judgment on self, being like, this shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be having this experience. So I'm going to do everything that I can to get away from it as quickly as possible. But in all that quick moving and action, sometimes we miss the actual meaning or the actual experience of what we're going through, the needs behind it, the depth of it. And so when we approach these difficult situations with mindfulness, it's telling us, whoa, slow down. And the first thing that I like to tell myself, which I'm practicing a lot lately, is that this too belongs. And that allows me to just stop the action step, stop trying to run away from it, and say, it's okay, this is here. Take a pause, take a breath. And in that pause, then we can kind of turn towards the heart space and say, this can be held. The first thing I want to do is give myself a little bit of love and understanding around this, that it's okay you're feeling this, it's okay you're going through this, that you're having this experience. So that I move out of that judgment of condemning myself for having a hard experience. So say it's okay that you're feeling this way. And I remember that this heart space, this center of my being that holds all this deepest, most compassionate wisdom and is so much bigger than just me, that it can hold all things. And that anything I'm experiencing is really safe here in the heart space. So I bring this difficult experience, I say it's okay that you're here. I don't need to run from you right now. I don't need to fix you immediately. I'm gonna hold you in this heart space first. I'm just gonna hold you here. in this nice safe space, and I'm gonna give you some love and attention. So that first I get to spend a little time listening and developing a deep understanding of what's actually going on. And most of the time when I do this, I recognize that it's not what I thought it was. And the process of healing from it is not what I would have done if I had jumped on it immediately. So that I can use an example of Miles and our new family here, is that sometimes if I feel this overwhelm or this frustration in it, and my first thought is like, I need to make Will do more, or I need to do less. And when I really, so then if I'd acted, gone right to action step, which I have done, I would probably do some sort of blame, some sort of pressure on him to do more. And when I pause first and say, wait a minute, just feel what you're actually feeling, bring it into the heart space, and that condemning that I can do if I don't do this, that judgment says you shouldn't be feeling so overwhelmed in this. A good parent wouldn't feel so overwhelmed. So what do you have to do? Whose fault is it that you're feeling this overwhelm? And who do you need to force to do something so that you don't feel this way? All right, so that would be like the judgment right into the action. So instead, if I say, wait a second, I can accept that I'm feeling this way. You're not a bad mom, you're not a bad person for these feelings being present. Bring those into the heart space and give them some compassion rather than fighting with them and saying, I need you to go away immediately because I'm so uncomfortable with you having these feelings. So I bring them into the heart space and I say, you know what? It's okay you're having these feelings. They're real for you. They're here. And let me just give you some compassion in the fact that you're feeling this. Bring them into the heart space, breathe with them, be patient with them, just have some acceptance and love and do some real listening. And when we do the listening, it's more like these feelings are real. The overwhelm is here. What I really need is some love, some appreciation, some patience, and to give myself permission to slow down. So when I really start to look at it, I realize that a lot of the pressure and the overwhelm comes from my own sense of having to be perfect or having to do everything all the time, all at once, and not make a mistake at it. So the pressure is not actually coming from the fact that someone else isn't doing enough. It's coming from the fact that I'm putting this pressure on myself. And when I recognize that, then I can start from within and say that healing begins with me. It begins with me trusting that it's okay to take some of the pressure off. Trusting that it's okay to rest, to pull back a little. And when I come to that, with that compassion, it softens the edge that I have and the frustration that I would have projected out onto others. And so when I reach out and I explain or I share, it comes more in the space of like, hey, I've felt a lot of this pressure. It's brought up anxiety or overwhelm. I'm trying to just appreciate what I am doing. Can you help me in that? And can you help me to kind of lessen my own burden and appreciate where I'm at and what I am doing? So it's a very different ask than if I'd started with action and said, it's all your fault. You're not doing enough. You need to take on more. And which creates more tension and difficulty in the situation. So starting with that compassion helps to ease off that pressure and judgment, which when we feel that pressure and judgment within, we tend to project it outwards onto others. So if we start by coming back to love and compassion in ourselves and nurturing that in ourselves, that's then how we end up being able to engage with the healing process outward of whatever it is we're struggling with or going through. So I invite you this week to look at whatever you're struggling with, whatever is hard, and ask yourself, am I starting with compassion? Am I really being with this in love and acceptance and starting with listening and developing understanding so that I soften all of this within myself first? The intro class begins today, this evening, through the FlexRec. There's still time to sign up if you want to do that today through the Montrose Rec Center. On the 31st is a Saturday. We're doing a half day, 8 o'clock to 1, partially silent meditation retreat to workshop. And we do this every year, and it's a great opportunity to just spend time in contemplation and insight and realign with your heart for this next year. I hope you guys can join us for that. And my first copy of my book is on its way to me so that I can make sure everything looks right, and then it'll be open for purchase. So that should be happening this month. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I hope to see you all very soon.